Helen Keller was once quoted as saying, "Blindness separates people from things. Deafness separates people from people." Hello, I'm Pamela Martin. During my 35-year career as a broadcaster, it was a privilege to bring important news events into people's homes. It was my role as a journalist to help my audience stay connected to our ever-changing world. Hearing health is a vital way to stay connected in our relationships, which improves our overall well-being. And it's for that reason that it's important to get to know your local hearing professional. Today, I'm talking with Andy Rolleman, a registered hearing instrument practitioner, and his partner, Jacqueline LeMay, Customer Service Associate. Both are owner-operators of the HearingLife Clinic in Chilliwack. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you, Pamela.
So, Andy, why don't we start with you? Tell us what inspired you to want to work in hearing health?
Well, I have to say it was kind of a reversal for me. Hearing health, this profession, had actually found me instead of me finding it.
Okay.
I was studying and aspiring to be a drama teacher, English teacher, drama teacher. And things took an interesting turn along the way, and I found myself in this profession through a friend, and I've never looked back, and it has been extremely rewarding.
Well, what is your most memorable client experience?
We have so many, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So many, but the one that just really rings with me is, I'll never forget him. This was several years back. A very large, 240-pound, 6'5" construction supervisor. And you could really get a sense that it was so difficult for him. The challenges, the hearing challenges, professionally, with his family, socially, it was so difficult for him. You could really get a sense of how it was really affecting his life. And through the standard battery of tests, we completed everything, and then I said to him, I'd really like to just give you a sense of what it might be like to hear better. So I programmed a set of hearing aids for him, and I placed it on him. They were muted, so they weren't operational. And I turned away from him to turn the hearing instruments on, and when I did that, I said to him now, and I won't say his name, but I said, now what you're going to hear is the way you should be hearing with your hearing corrected. And I turned around and I saw this large 6'5", big burly construction worker sobbing. And it really melts you when you see, you could just sense how his hearing had affected him, his hearing loss had affected him for so many years. And the correction was just such a dramatic difference in his life. So it really affected him deeply.
Yeah, that was a really nice story. For me, it's a little bit different. I think a memorable moment happens every second day. I actually keep a log. I write notes. And my favorite, though, is one lady, her name is Ruth, and she's 95 years old, never wore hearing aids before, ever. And she came into our office and she said, I've got maybe 5 years to live, she says, and I want to live it with quality. She put those hearing aids on, never took them off, never complained, brought us cookies every 2 weeks, still does, and she bakes them on her own, and she's just a lovely lady. And I think, just having her, share her moment with us was really special. Yep.
So you must have so many amazing experiences like that where it really changes people's lives.
It does.
It does, yes.
Yeah. Now, Andy, just a bit of a digression here. You are also an actor.
I am.
And you're on the stage. In fact, you're on the stage tonight.
Yes, I will be.
And so tell us, how does that correlate with hearing? So acting and communicating in that way, and then another way.
Yeah. There's a two-part answer to that for me. Whenever I think about performing and giving my best performance that I can, I'm always reminded of a mentor who kind of got me started. He said something to me knowing that I acted. And he said, the really important thing for you is to give the best performance you can give for your client. And I thought, those words just really stuck with me. But I think it's so important that when when we have a client, you're giving them the best solutions possible, the best testing, very thorough, give the best performance. That's the first part. And the second part, yes, being on stage is super rewarding for me. It's my outlet, it's my hobby. The joy of actually seeing our clients come to our shows, that
really?
is amazing, yes.
And they can hear.
And they can hear. And what we've done is establish this kind of, this really wonderful thing for them where they are now socially partaking again. They're going to social events, they're going to family events, they're going to places of worship. This is enormously rewarding for me when I actually see them and they're actually enjoying the show. And I ask them afterwards, did you hear everything okay?
Yeah.
Every word. Yeah, so
it could have been years where they could not even go to a play.
Yeah, and how they were distancing themselves from so many important things because of their hearing loss. To actually see them partake again is really rewarding.
Yeah. So, Jacqueline, what are some of the causes of hearing loss?
One of the main causes of hearing loss is aging. And as we age, the structure of our ear deteriorates and can lead to hearing loss. So aging would probably be the most common. We've also got a noise-induced hearing loss. Noise exposure from working as a mechanic or in a sawmill, any tools, trucking, that sort of thing can cause a hearing loss. We call that a noise-induced hearing loss. There's also infections or ear infections or viruses
things like
that can cause sudden hearing loss. Very important to note that when there is a hearing loss, a sudden hearing loss, you should get help right away.
This is very important.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chiming in there, Jacqueline, it's really important that if someone is struggling with a sudden hearing loss, the priority is to get to a medical professional and have that looked at. Because often, not in all cases, but we've seen it in with some of our clients, if it's addressed soon enough, those effects can be reversed.
Well, it actually happened to my husband. We were in a movie and suddenly he turned to me and said, I can't hear out of my left ear. And we actually got up, left the movie, went to the emergency.
Oh, wow.
And he was very lucky. He got medication right away and completely saved his hearing. But I know he was told that he hadn't done that.
Yeah.
He probably would have lost it
hearing.
permanently.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of the signs?
A lot of times, the person with the hearing loss doesn't even know they have a hearing loss. It's usually a family member that draws attention to it. And it's very subtle. Things like turning the TV up loud, thinking everybody else in the room is mumbling is a big one. Withdrawing from social situations, that sort of thing, continually asking people to repeat. Those are kind of signs that you might want to go in and get your hearing, tested just to see kind of what's going on. You might be in the early stages of hearing loss.
So what happens when they come in for the test?
Well, when they come in through the door, they'll see me first. And I usually like to get a sense of why are they there? Sometimes it's a husband dragging a wife or a wife saying, you're not listening to me. We're going to go get your hearing tested. Children who live out of province and are phoning their parents and there's no conversation because mom can't hear. So when they come to visit, the first thing they do is bring them to our clinic. And so I get a sense of what they're there for and find out a little bit more about them. And then I pass the test over or the information over to Andy. And
that kind of deep dive a little bit more, okay? Looking at some of those preliminary details that Jacqueline obtained, now I want to look a little deeper. Okay, what is going on? How is it affecting your life? And then moving into the testing.
Yeah.
And trying to be as thorough as we can with the testing to get the best answers possible.
So then once you get the answer, then what happens? What's the procedure?
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, and one of the most important things, I think, is communicating to your client in a way that they can understand. Lose the jargon. Bring it down to a level or, a way that you can communicate with them that they can understand. Okay, if there is hearing loss, what kind of hearing loss is it? There are different types of hearing loss. How severe is this hearing loss? Is it something that just needs to be monitored? Or is it something that, we need to take action now? We should take action. If so, what do we need to do? Are there the type of hearing aids that are going to address this hearing loss? Communicating with with their family doctor. So important that everything be summarized and sent to their family doctor so that they're apprised of what's going on. Making the recommendations and then inviting them to be part of a trial of hearing instruments.
There is a lot of stigma, or there can be, around hearing aids. I think some people feel very self-conscious about it, and yet they're very discreet.
They are.
Yeah, you know, some people think they're going to be unattractive, and back in the day, they were big. Nowadays, they're little mini rights that you put on the back of your ear. It has a little wire that goes into the ear, very discreet. No one will know you're wearing a hearing aid unless they're looking at you from behind maybe, but looking at you, you know, face on, really nobody would see it. You know, they come in all different colors, they match your hair, glasses, and
yeah,
so
it's amazing what
so
they can do now. So is it possible that you could experience hearing loss from just having wax buildup in your ears?
It can be. The wax buildup has to be significant for it to cause a hearing loss. But I experienced it myself. And I was wearing my, my lab coat, and I went into a walk-in clinic, and I said, I can't hear anything. And he looked inside. He said, no wonder. So that was taken care of. It can cause hearing loss if it's not taken care of, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you that I actually was tested. I went through the whole procedure. It was very comfortable, very easy, and very thorough.
And I had a chance to see your results.
And what did you see?
I'm jealous.
That sounds good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you have very, very good hearing.
Why, thank you.
Yes. And I don't have hearing as nearly as good as yours, sadly. But no, it a very good result, very good speech processing. That's one of the tests that we do. Try to establish, you know, how well you're processing speech. One of the most important tests is what's called quick SIN. SIN standing for speech in noise.
Oh, right.
So many of the complaints we get from folks out there is, I can't hear a noise. I can't hear in the restaurant.
Right.
I can't hear in family gatherings. So this test really pins down how difficult is it for you to hear. And yours was extremely good.
Oh, I'm so happy.
And it's a little surprising, I will tell you, because given the fact that you had to wear the...
I know, an earpiece for so many years.
So many years, yeah.
And yet, I don't know.
Quite something.
I was really concentrating. I wanted to get it right.
Right.
Well, thank you so much for coming in, Jacqueline and Andy, and sharing all your information with us. And great talking to you today.
Thank you, Pamela. Thank you for having us.
Isn't it true that when our eyes start to fail, we get our vision tested, or we see a dentist to maintain our oral health? Well, sadly, many people ignore the early signs of hearing loss. After all, our hearing is such an important sense, one that can significantly impact our quality of life. So don't let hearing loss stop you from living your best life. Book a free hearing test with Andy and Jacqueline today and experience how their personalized care can help you keep being you. So what are you waiting for? Get to know your local hearing professional. Visit hearinglife.ca/Patton Avenue and love your ears.